Welcome to this Intergender Bodybuilding Challenge. Frank Zane will go head-to-head against Iris Kyle. This is the first of its kind, so I believe I will get a fairly big response for this one, which is why I have a business-like demeanor. There will be no woozle-wazzles, bucka-buckas. I'm going to be all business for this one. I am quite surprised and shocked. Soon as I laid this one down on the paper, I could not wait to see how they would stack up against each other. Frank Zane, of course, a Mr. Olympia. Iris Kyle, a Miss Olympia. Can a Miss Olympia beat a Mr. Olympia? I thought yes, but now that I laid it down, I would have to say no. Frank Zane, bigger. Doesn't have the peaks on the biceps, I must say, but look how much bigger Frank is. And conditioning, right there with Iris Kyle, at least from the front. Look at the legs. Now, this is one aspect I thought Frankie was going to have some skinny legs, all the training, all the techniques, all the technology, I should say. I mean, come on. But no, Frank Zane, good set of legs here in comparison. Maybe a little bit humorous here, but Iris Kyle is smoking Frank Zane in the calf department. You can even see that here from the front. She's twisted her leg, you can see. But my, she did that to a lot of the guys in her time. She would haul her calves out and say, "Come on now." And not too many guys were there to hang with her in the calf department, I'm here to tell you. I can't wait to go through the other shots. Let's have a look at the backs right now. And again, I have to say, Frank did win the front double bicep in my opinion, but I thought Iris was going to smoke Frank in this one at least, because of the hamstrings, the glutes, and of course she is winning in the glutes, and that's remarkable when you think about it. But why would Frank Zane have glutes? Nobody else did at that time. We cannot assume that he couldn't get glutes. I mean, what do you think? They all have them now, and nobody had them then. It's not because of who they are. It's all the training and things of that nature. There was no need for glutes back then. Look at everything else. Frank's legs, this is how I would like the classical physique guys to have their stance. Now, you can actually see his quad from behind. Iris Kyle smoking Frank Zane in the calf department. Look at that. My. So even if she doesn't win this one, she can, hold her head up high. She definitely beat Frank in the calf department. And Frank, no slouch in that area. I don't know, it's close in the back development, but judged just on the back, I would say Frank has this one. And thank goodness for Frank. Imagine how embarrassing it would be to lose to a woman. Of course, Iris Kyle would destroy me, or even anything that I could ever develop fully, even if I could develop fully. But anyway, enough about picking my physique apart. Let's have these guys, or guy and girl, turn around, and let's have a look at the front lat spread. And this is an area where, come on, structurally speaking, Frank Zane, there's just no way Iris could ever touch him in this pose. One of the best front lat spreads of all time. I would say he would beat Dorian Yates in this pose, but I would get attacked, I'm here to tell you, even if I even mention it. And of course, no, he couldn't. But for his time, Frank Zane probably had one of, if not the best front lat spreads. Arnold's good too, but Iris Kyle, not the best. So when we have a look at the back developments, you can definitely see Iris was lacking the wings, the lats, and that showed from the front. You could definitely see that, and even more evident here from behind. Still though, those glutes, and you have to think, scientifically speaking, a woman just has a harder time to get the hard conditioning like a man can. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful in any way, it's science speaking. But here we have Iris Kyle, glutes more striated than Frank Zane ever dreamed of having. Not that I'm sure Frank Zane dreamed about having striated glutes. Maybe he did, I don't know. He used a bow and arrow. Anyway, this competition, it has resulted to pretty much a bashing onto Iris Kyle. Frank Zane, he's beating up Iris Kyle. And we can see from the side shot. And we have no side chest shot. I mean, it's a side chest shot, guys. What are you looking at when you have the female bodybuilders do the side chest? Surely it's not the chest. A lot of them have augmented breast surgery, and I mean, you can't even see the muscle anymore. But anyway, we're not going to get into that. This is a side tricep. Frank Zane, I often say his tricep, for the size of his body, the tricep itself is probably the biggest, for the display that is, in the history of bodybuilding. Yes, bigger than Rolly Winkler's. You can see Rolly Winkler's tricep. I mean, it's big, but his body's massive too. Frank Zane, a little skiff of a physique, just a slip, a little whoosh, and then a big bulging tricep. Just hammer fisting poor Iris Kyle. Shame on you, Frank. Take it easy on the poor lass. She's doing her best. And with the ab and thigh, the only remaining shot, this may have been a little bit of a bad idea. I honestly thought Frank Zane, he might even have got hurt in this competition. I thought Iris was going to stomp on him and just flatten him from behind. I thought Frank maybe would have captured a couple of the front shots, namely this ab and thigh, which he is. This is Domination City, even in the conditioning area. Wow. Frank Zane, let's face it, guys. I don't know if a female or if a Miss Olympia competitor could beat a Mr. Olympia. I thought maybe Iris Kyle had a chance with Frank Zane, but nothing doing. Could she beat Larry Scott? I don't know. Could she beat Chris Dickerson? Hard to say. Frank Zane handled her. And even in this closing pose, this final pose, which is a Frank Zane pose, a little bit unfair for Iris Kyle. But what the heck? We already showed this just brutal beating, which was terrible. I don't think I'll ever do this again. Unless Natalia Amazonka, if she can get more cut, then maybe she could handle one of the men. Hard to say. But I mean, Frank Zane's a very top-ranked bodybuilder to start with. But if you're going to do it, you're going to go big. And it was Mr. Olympia versus Miss Olympia, and the Mr. Olympia won. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this different video. I'm sure it'll be the first and the last that you'll see on my channel. Have a great day.